Welcome to This is Baseball. I'm Brandon Johnson. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Dodgers on defeating the New York Yankees in the World Series in 5 games. Let the record show that I did pick the Dodgers to win the World Series, and I feel pretty good about that. I thought it would be a pretty competitive series. The Dodgers ended up obviously dominating the series outside of Game 4. The Dodgers had a 3-0 lead and ended up winning in 5 games, largely due to a meltdown by the Yankees in the top of the 5th in Game 5, where you had a ground ball that would have gotten the Yankees out of the inning with 2 outs, going into the bottom of the 5th, up 5-0. But you had a ground ball to first base to Anthony Rizzo that he could have probably taken to first base, but Garrett Cole was acting like he was going to go cover first and then decided not to, and everybody was safe. And then later in that inning, Aaron Judge, who has honestly contributed basically nothing in the postseason, let alone the World Series, drops a routine fly ball to center field, and the Yankees just ended up having a really bad time by the end of the 5th inning with 2 outs, like I said. The Dodgers put up 5 to tie the game and then ended up winning the whole thing in Yankee Stadium, sending the Yankees home with their tails between their legs, losing. And honestly, I don't have a hard time rooting against the New York Yankees for a lot of reasons. They have 27 world championships. The next closest is 11. So it's easy to root against the team that is the winningest franchise in Major League Baseball. And honestly, their fans made it incredibly easy during this World Series. I think to put it into a word, the Yankees fans were classless through most of the series, particularly at Yankee Stadium. I think booing Freddie Freeman during Game 4's stand-up to cancer moment, where he has his mom's name on the paper, his mom that he lost to breast cancer, booing him during that shows you just how low you are as Yankees fans. And the Yankees fans out in right field that tried to rip Mookie Betts' arm off with the play that was in foul territory near the wall. And I was thinking about that. I'm disappointed with how that's been covered, because it's largely been covered like celebrating that Yankees fan, and people are like happy that the Yankees fan did that to Mookie Betts. But clearly he went way, way, way too far, and I personally think he should be banned from going to baseball games, because you clearly had intent to hurt Mookie Betts. You were pulling at his arm, twisting, and trying to get the ball out of his glove. And I don't need to go into why that's not okay. I think it's obvious why you can't do that. It would be one thing if the fan had just a natural reaction of a ball coming at him and wanted to field it because he didn't want it to hit him. But this play was already done. Mookie Betts already had the ball. Everything was done, and he's grabbing onto him. This is different than typical fan interference, where players sees a ball coming at them, they want to catch it, have a souvenir, whatever. This was honestly insane that a fan did that, and completely uncalled for. But the Yankees did that right. That happened in Game 4, and the Yankees took that fan's tickets away for Game 5 and gave them to a pediatric cancer patient. So Yankees kind of turned a bad thing into a good thing and gave a kid that's going through a hard time a good experience. But I want to move off of the World Series and really just take some time to reflect on the season as a whole. I know we kind of did that towards the end of the regular season, but now that the dust is settled and champions have been crowned, I just want to take a look back and honestly say this was one of the better seasons of Major League Baseball that I've watched and followed. I think it's largely due to the fact that the Royals made the postseason and were good and relevant for the first time in just under a decade. So obviously that's going to make me feel a lot more positive about this season than I would have last season. They lost 106 games, but I really liked in 2024 just kind of how close all of the teams seemed as far as records go. And I'm talking about teams that were in the playoff chase. There's no team that really ran away with things and like had things wrapped up, 2 weeks prior to the season ending like we've seen before. There weren't any 100-game winners, which I said last year at some point early on that with the balanced schedule, I almost wonder if 100-game seasons are not necessarily going to go away because we've seen them under the balanced schedule, but I almost feel like they're going to be less. Like they're going to happen less with the balanced schedule just because you can't kind of pad wins against teams in your division that aren't as good as you. Like you play teams in your division less than you did. You played teams now 12, 13 times in your division versus the 18 to 20 or whatever it was before they switched. And I don't say that to take a shot at any accomplishments of like the Astros or the Yankees, Rays, whoever who have kind of made a living of, even the Dodgers have kind of made a living of beating their division. Like you don't have any control over your schedule and how the other teams in your division are going to do that year. That's no penalty to you. I mean, the Royals finished 10 games over 500 this year, and they went 12-1 against the Chicago White Sox. So I mean, I saw it. Some people made the argument that the only reason that the Royals made the playoffs is because they beat the White Sox, and obviously we know the White Sox had the worst season in history as far as wins and losses are concerned. But I make the argument that good teams should beat bad teams. The Royals, I would consider good. I considered them good going into last season. They should go 12-1 against the White Sox. The White Sox shouldn't be a series that you go into that you're hoping to get 2 out of 3. The White Sox, just based off of how bad they are, yeah, we should beat the White Sox every time or close to every time. So I just liked the balance and just how kind of close everything was this season in particular. And I think that makes everything more exciting. With the expanded playoffs, there were more teams in it, and just everything kind of came down to the wire. We had the Braves and the Mets having to play extra games to decide those playoff spots. Not extra games, but a day after everybody else, just due to the hurricanes that came through. And a lot of the wild card wasn't settled until the final 3 days of the season, which is exactly what you want. You want drama up to the very end, and you want involvement up as late in the season as you possibly can. And just overall a super enjoyable season. And now we're turning the page to the off season. So I'm excited to see where a lot of these teams go. I'm really excited to see what the Royals do. Are they going to add some corner outfielders or look for some bullpen help or make some trades? Are they going to spend a lot more money in free agency? Are we going to hear more about the stadium situation in Kansas City? What are the Rays going to do with their stadium? Because they obviously took some damage during the hurricane. Are we going to hear more about the Oakland A's and their Sacramento situation? More about Las Vegas and what's going on with that? Back to free agency, though. Like, where's Juan Soto going to land? I thought it was interesting with Juan Soto. I honestly, and I still kind of feel like he'll end up back with the New York Yankees, but I thought it was pretty interesting that, within half an hour of losing the World Series, he's telling reporters, like, yeah, I'm open to every team. And, all 30 teams I'll be fielding calls from and listening to offers. And, in a way, I guess that's smart. You want to be open to ideas, and you don't want to say, I want to be a Yankee for life. Maybe you do, but at least open up the door to possibilities of, I can help your team. And obviously Juan Soto is the most highly coveted free agent this offseason, so I think he's going to have offers from most teams, and people are going to call him. I think you'll have teams like the Yankees and Mets and Dodgers, possibly the Giants. I'd like to see the Cubs kind of get in on those talks. I think he'll just get multiple offers. And I do think he'll end up back in New York. I think he fits really well in New York. Obviously, he was, in a way, kind of the missing piece to the puzzle of the Yankees' success. Could also make the argument that the Astros finally losing in the playoffs and the Yankees not having to face them was the missing piece to the Yankees' success in the postseason. But I think having Juan Soto and then Aaron Judge right behind Juan Soto, it ended up working out really well. I said it a couple times during the postseason run, like Juan Soto, had Aaron Judge not done or had the season that he had, there's a good chance that Juan Soto's the MVP. Or if, outside of Bobby Witt Jr., I think Bobby Witt Jr. would have been the MVP, though. But you get what I'm saying. Had an MVP caliber season, just somebody else stood out a little bit more. So, yeah, offseason just starting. Free agency transactions have already started. Jorge Soler already got traded. He got traded literally, I think, yesterday. He got traded from the Braves to the Angels. So movement's already happening, and I know we'll see some of these big free agents probably go pretty early, and we'll have winter meetings next month where a lot of big stuff goes down. And we still have award season. We don't know who the MVP is. I mean, we know who the MVP is. It hasn't been announced. We got to learn the Gold Gloves and Silver Sluggers and all those different categories of awards. So a lot of information that will be coming up within the next month or so. But I do want to talk, this is baseball. Obviously, the name of the episode is the 2024 finale of This is Baseball, and you're probably thinking, what? It's the first week of November. You still have 8+ weeks to go in the year. What are we doing? Well, I think with the ending of the 2024 baseball season, it was a good time for me to take a short break. I've been doing this podcast now about 18 months. Started the day before 2023's opening day. That was my first episode, and I've basically done a podcast episode every week or every other week, depending on the schedule, for 18 months. And I've never really taken a break. And doing this podcast, while it's incredibly fun and I love doing it and I will continue to do it, I am at a point now where I feel like it's a good time to take a break and work on some ideas and just some of the things that I've been wanting to do for a while. I don't want to overshare because I'll share that when we get to next year, but I think we're going to kind of usher in a new era of This is Baseball in 2025. I have a lot of great ideas and things I've been working on and things I'm going to continue working on that I'm really excited to share, that I will dive a lot deeper into either the first or second week of January in 2025. But I'm excited to get there. This is Baseball isn't going anywhere. I think we're about to hit a really good point and be in a really good spot. But I think for me to be able to do that, it's a great time right now to go ahead and take a break and just get refreshed and renewed and ready for what I'm trying to accomplish next year. And I'm really excited about it. I think you'll really enjoy what I have, but I will again share that. That's how I'll open 2025 and just kind of sharing what I want to do and where I want to go. Just wanted to obviously explain, like, not going to have an episode for 8+ weeks. So I am planning and prepping for what's to come. And I just want to say thank you for listening for really the last 18 months, and hope and appreciate if you would listen when I come back. But in the meantime, I will be around still doing other podcasts. I have a couple other projects that I do. If you're a football fan, I think, and I haven't talked about these podcasts for quite a while on the show, but if you're a football fan, I do a football podcast called Football Kingdom with a friend of mine, Tyler Mallon, and it comes out every Wednesday, and we just recap the previous week of the NFL season. We spend most of our time talking about Kansas City Chiefs because we are from Kansas City and obviously Chiefs fans, so we spend much of our time talking about that, breaking down the game, looking ahead to next week's game, and then just talking about kind of the big stories around the NFL that we feel are necessary or relevant to what we want to talk about. And those episodes of Football Kingdom happen every Wednesday. So, if you're looking to fill the void of This Is Baseball on Wednesdays, you can listen to Football Kingdom in the meantime. The other podcast that I do that I have an incredible amount of fun with is called The Merge Feast, and that is a podcast recapping the episodes of the reality TV show Survivor. I do that with two of my friends, Blake Hogmo, Logan Hogmo. They are brothers. I have known them basically my entire life. I don't really know or can think of a time of not knowing them. So we do that show, The Merge Feast, every week. And those episodes come out every Friday following the episode of Survivor that week. We also do some off-season stuff there as well. Same with Football Kingdom. So that's where I will be at in the meantime, is on Football Kingdom and on the Merge Feast, on top of working on and preparing what I have to come in 2025 for This Is Baseball. Again, thank you for listening all season long. I will be back in 2025 in that first or second week of January. Be looking for my episode. I will see you then.